Dr. David, nice to see you.
It's good to be here.
Long-term outcomes. Why should we be focusing on those and the success in HIV treatment as part of the AIDS 2024 dialogue?
It's a different time now. So basically, when we look at HIV, we have single tablet regimens, which are the norm. We have long-acting treatment options for people. And so the question is, how do we go beyond viral suppression? So all of these antiretroviral treatment regimens work very, very well. So they'll get people virally suppressed. So the goal is, how can we keep people engaged in care? How can we get them to think about primary care and their healthcare maintenance, other kind of comorbidities, where in the past it used to be, am I going to live over the next few months? Now it's more of, I'm going to live for the next few decades, so how can I really manage my health holistically instead of just being focused on HIV?
Yeah, and so what are the individual treatment factors then that impact the long-term success of HIV?
I mean, there's multiple treatment factors. It could be the medication regimen itself and kind of how it pans out with resistance, how durable it is, what kind of barrier it has to a virus when it mutates or becomes resistant. It also could have a lot to do with the person themselves, so what other medications they may be taking that could interact with the medications. It also could have something to do with their comorbidities. Anything that happens when we all get older, that can sometimes impact how effectively these regimens work.
Are there factors, do you think, that are sort of beyond medicine to consider when we're talking about the long-term success of HIV? I think I know the answer, but let's hear it.
A lot of them are structural.
Yeah.
So it's not about just putting up a clinic or a building, but it's actually getting people and staff that have cultural humility, cultural competence, and are able to tailor the regimens towards the person that's sitting in front of them. Instead of just saying, well, I have this regimen, or I prefer this regimen for you, saying, what's going to work best in your lifestyle? So it's more about, how do we make the ART regimen work in what you do every day, instead of how do we fit you into this ART regimen?
So what I'm hearing from you is it's about putting people first.
Absolutely. It's always been about putting people first.
People often who are not in this field that we all work in HIV advocacy and health, are often surprised when I say there's a lot of stigma that comes from nurses and doctors, and that in and of itself makes it very difficult for someone to even step through the doors of a clinic that says sexual health center.
Yeah, and it's challenging, and I think that's the next phase, is what we call implementation science, right? So implementation science is when you take whatever the science is and find programs or research or initiatives that actually implement the science literally into the fabric of how we distribute the science, how we enact the science, how we get people on a clinical level to engage in practices, to engage with their providers and go from there. I think at Gilead, what we've realized is that we've been able to get to a point where the science is great. We have single tablet regimens, like I said. We have long-acting injectables that are present now and will be advanced in the future to make it even more long-acting. So the goal on our behalf is, how can we get everybody equitable access and make them feel comfortable so they want to engage in these medical institutions and healthcare facilities so they can get the healthcare that they deserve.
Always a pleasure seeing you, David.